Friends, the story that we are going to present to you today is related to a coastal town where 3 deaths happened mysteriously on the same stormy night. Then after 15 years of this incident, there is another death in another city, whose connection is from the same terrible day. But the thing to think about is what happened that day, and who is responsible for all these deaths. Let's know in today's video. The story begins with a small town called Evelyn Bay on the coast of Australia, where we see a boy drowning in the sea in a terrible rain. His name was Kyron, and he was crying for help. Then his brother Finn and his best friend Toby come to save him from the boat. Seeing them, Kyron takes a breath of relief, but unfortunately, as soon as they come close to him, a strong storm in the sea takes their boat with it, cause of which both Toby and Finn die in this tragic incident. But the surprising thing was that Kyron survived like a miracle. Although this is not the only such incident in a beautiful place like Evelyn Bay that day, apart from these 2 young men. A girl named Gabby Bish also went into a storm without leaving any clue. The mystery behind her disappearance has still been a stigma on this beautiful city. 15 years pass by. We see Kyron coming to the city again with his wife, husband, and daughter Audrey. His mother Verity has come to receive them. On the way, his mother Verity has come at the right time, because next week, 15 years are going to pass in this city, in which everyone is making a big plan in memory of him. Speaking of this, Kyron remembers that 15-year-old passed. How did he go to that strange tunnel on the coast of the sea despite his mother's refusal, because of which he lost both his brother and his best friend? Even his father Brian's memory has become weak. They are happy to see Kyron. They consider him their son Finn. Now Kyron has come here, but all the things in his mind are still bothering him. Everything around him is reminding him of the past. And that's why he goes out for a walk with his daughter Audrey. That's when he meets his childhood friend Ash, who asks him, "Have you come here for the anniversary?" Kyron says, "No, I have come to see my father." Meanwhile, he is very ill. Ash tells him that Toby's father Julian has recently opened a clubhouse, whose name is also Finn and Toby. He even remembers that next week he is going to have a Shroud and Jolly ceremony. But Kyron doesn't think anyone will be happy to see him there. We are introduced to Bronte, who was a research scholar, and she came here to know the whole story behind the disappearance of Gabby, Gabby's sister. Olivia stays with her mother Trish. In the evening, Mia and Kyron go to the club to meet their friends, where they meet Toby's brother and his best friend Scene. Gabby's sister Olivia was also present, who's Ash's girlfriend. There are a lot of characters here, so you might get confused, so understand the character carefully. Let's come to the story. When Bronte finds out that Mia was Gabby's best friend, she tries to answer the question about that incident. That's when Toby's son Liam comes there. He still thinks that Kyron is responsible for his father's death. He throws a beer on Kyron in anger. As soon as he sees it, the atmosphere there is ruined. Because of this, Kyron thinks it is better to go with Mia. Maybe that's why he never wanted to come back here. Yes. Because this city will never let him forget how difficult it was for him to move on in his life. But now again, those bitter memories are taking away his sleep at night. His daughter Audrey's crying wakes him up. And then the eyes go out on the balcony. There is a car parked in front of the house, from which his father Brian comes out. But where did he go so late at night? This was to be thought. In the morning, when his eyes open, he gets news of Bronte's death in the middle. Well, another death from which Olivia, sitting a little far away, was very scared. He takes care of her until Ash comes. Now here we know that the responsibility of the investigation of this case has been given to Detective Pendla and his partner Chris Wren, after which both of them start interrogating all those people again. And again, last night from 8 to 11, when they were in the pump. During this time, Kyron tells them that he saw a fast car, but he doesn't know whose car it was. Well, on the basis of Kyron and other people's statements, the police suspect Tabby's son Liam when his car is found next to Bronte's house. The most surprising thing was that since he got the news of Bronte's death, he has left the house and run away. All these things point to him. The Scene comes to Kyron's house looking for him, where we find out that Liam used to live with him in the absence of Kyron. Liam and his mother Verity had become friends, and this makes Kyron very angry. So Verity says to him, "Yes, I had kept him here. That day he not only lost his father, but I also lost my daughter. But what do you care about all this? You quickly ran away from here to Sydney." She feels very bad about this, but still he goes to find Liam in place of his mother. And after a while, they finally find him. On the other hand, Kyron feels that her father Brian is somewhere behind this, because when this incident happened last night, he was out of the house. Now Julian had also seen him walking out at 1 o'clock that night, but no inquiries have been made to him yet. Now the story goes into a flashback for a while. We find out that Gabby and Mia used to be best friends at one time. Gabby liked Kyron very much and wanted to marry him. But when she sees her sister Olivia near him, she is very sad. After which the story comes to the present and tells us to change our statement to Kyron Mia. Because he was the one who told the police the color of Liam's car, because of which the police were still after Bronte's death. Kyron does not want there to be any discrimination between Julian and his family because of those people? He just wanted to spend a few days here with his father. He does not want to get involved in all this. Now here Verity thanks Kyron for explaining to her wife. She also tells him that neither Liam nor his father Brian will do this, because they do not stay in their senses for more than half the time. And because of the disease, when they feel like they go out for a walk, the whole city knows this too. In the next scene, we see Olivia, who stole Bronte's mobile phone when she told her boyfriend Ash secretly, because she had some things about drugs related to Ash and Bronte in the phone, due to which he can get stuck. And that's why they are thinking of fixing both the phones. Then Olivia finds out that her mother Trish is not at home. She starts looking for her. Unknowingly. She has gone to meet her husband today. When her husband is coming to meet Trish, he meets his favorite writer George Ballin on the way, who had been staying in Evelyn Bay for a long time. Bronte's postmortem report is found at the police station today. It was clearly written that he died in an attack with a heavy weapon on his head. Now it is confirmed that he has been murdered. After which his clothes were also torn. But the surprising thing was that neither was he raped, nor was he killed by the sea. But the killer did throw him off the beach after killing him. At the same time. The police also find a person's hair on Bronte's body, which made them realize that there is a man behind his death. After this, we see Trish and her husband together. At the same place where Gabby went for the last time. Here Trish throws a bag in the water in front of her husband. She tells him that in the last 15 years I have thrown hundreds of bags at this place, but none of them got stuck in the waves and did not come to the shore. So how did Gabby get her bag to the police on the day she was missing? How is this possible? She screams and says that I tried a lot to explain to the police, but they didn't listen to me. And now the daughter has been missing for 15 years. But no one was worried about her except Bronte. But now he is no longer in the world. On the other hand, Liam goes to the police station with his grandfather Julian for interrogation. Where, despite hiding a lot, he has admitted that he had left Bronte at home at night, but he did not kill her. When Liam is not ready to confess, the police take his DNA sample and leave him for the time being. In the meantime, Verity gets a post on social media, in which a voice was raised to interrogate the police by pointing a finger at Brian. Seeing this, he feels that this is definitely the work of Julian. And both the mother and son tell him to delete his post. But Julian tells them that this is not his job. In the meantime, he sees Kyron there and removes the past 15 years. How he lost his daughter because of his stupidity. But Kyron doesn't say a word, because somewhere he also realized his mistake. Despite refusing a lot, why did he go to that dangerous cave? On the one hand, where Kyron was still feeling ashamed for his childish behavior, Trish was not ready to accept at any cost that her daughter is no longer in the world. At home, Olivia sees her mother talking about Gabby again. So she turns red with anger. She did not like the mention of Gabby in her house at all, because this ruins her mother's mental state. She even tried to commit suicide once. Because of this, Olivia is very worried about her. She immediately asks Mia to leave. But while leaving, Trish calls George Barlin in her ears. That is, she wanted Mia to find out about her daughter instead of Bronte. Maybe George can help her in this. Because according to him, he knows something about this case. Now at night, Brian suddenly remembers a few incidents that happened that day, because of which he is so scared that he asks Verity if he is in trouble. Verity explains to him that, no, you are not in trouble with anyone. Suddenly, someone knocks on the door. And when she looks down with a torch, it was written in big letters there, crazy, which was for Brian, but before knowing who did this, that person had already left C. Verity is convinced that this is definitely the work of the same man who posted against Brian this morning and tried to trap him. The next morning, Marco is finally killed by the police. But after asking about Bronte, he only found out that she was very angry, and there was nothing special between them, although he was very scared of his death. That's why he was trying to hide. After this, Brian is called for interrogation. He tells the police that yes, he often goes out to walk at night. When he puts a little more pressure on his mind, he remembers that he saw a light in the middle that night. But whose light was? Was it a torch, or was it something else? Brian fails to tell. When he puts a little more pressure on his mind, he starts feeling sick, and he starts talking about Gabby's disappearance. Then he starts mourning his son Finn's death, which Verity and Karen take him home. Meanwhile, when Detective Pendle and Gabby gather information, they find out that Brian was the only person who had seen Gabby for the last time. And while investigating the case, Jeff was also Brian's good friend. And then for the investigation, Bronte's parents come to the police station, from whom Detective Pendle gets a wonderful piece of information. That Marco and Bronte used to be in a relationship, but because of Marco's son's nature, both separated. But still Marco didn't agree, and he follows him. So now the police's suspicion of Marco gets deeper. On the other hand, his friend Jeff comes to meet Brian today. When the two go out for a walk, Brian suddenly remembers a little. The day Gabby saw him for the last time. She was looking for his daughter Karen, seeing Brian's deteriorating condition. Jeff brings him back home, and on the other hand, Karen goes snorkeling with her mother, Verity, Liam, and Cheyenne in the middle of the sea. As soon as he gets into the water, he remembers the incident of 15 years ago. How his own mother blamed him for the death of Finn and Toby, and God knows what happened. And thinking about it, Karen's breath starts to suffocate, and he comes back on the boat. Liam starts laughing at his condition, so Karen thinks that she must have teased him with his tank. That's why she was having such a hard time breathing. Now the situation gets very bad. Even his mother, Verity, doesn't listen, and both come home. Meanwhile, the police find out that Marco has left the city and gone to Argentina, and he has reached the airport. But when there is no evidence against him, the police put 2 men behind him. Meanwhile, a report comes to the lab. Detective Pendle has invited everyone to the press conference today. And here she requests everyone that her camera, laptop, and mobile phone is missing in the case of Bronte, which is the most important evidence of this case. They can help her find it, and Bronte's mother, Pendira, comes on stage and begs them to give her daughter justice. Brian is a little upset to hear all this. He is again annoyed by what happened that night, because of which Verity and Karen bring him home. Meanwhile, a lab report has come to Pendle, and he gets a DNA match, after which they all set out to catch that person. But there is no Marco here. But this person is not Marco, but Brian is. Brian's sample matches the DNA found in Bronte's mouth. After this, she goes to her house with her whole team to search, where they find Bronte's camera in the boat shed. And on this basis, Brian is arrested for further investigation. Karen and Verity are very upset to see Brian go to jail. On the one hand, Verity was taking the help of a lawyer to free her husband. At the same time, Karen and Olivia are interrogated. The day Bronte was murdered, I saw you going to his room. Did she'll live with you both? Do you know how to help my father? Olivia tells him the truth that she has Bronte's phone, because Ash used to sell drugs to her. And because of this stupidity, he can get caught. Because of which I had to steal Bronte's phone. Now here he tells Olivia to hand over the phone to the police. Maybe there is some clue in it that he can get so that his father can be saved. But Olivia clearly refuses to do this. Why would she want to trap herself? So here Karen reminds him of a favor a few years ago for which Olivia is always grateful to him, but today, the price of repaying that favor. Bronte's phone was not to be returned at all. He also tells this to his husband. Then he goes to his house to meet Ash, where the scene is also together. He begs him to return the phone to the police. But Ash can't do that even if he wants to, because he knows very well that as soon as the police open the phone, his black letter will come in front of him, that he is the biggest history cheater in this city. In the middle of all this, Ash tells that George Ballin is a rapist, and there are many allegations of flirting with women on him. Maybe he killed Bronte. He and Bronte used to meet each other. There was definitely some connection between them. Hearing this, Karen tells him that we should definitely open his phone. Yes, some evidence will be found against him, but Ash was still not ready to open the phone. Karen tells him about the crazy word written by a stranger that night, and tells him to break the lock on the door of his boat shed. He was sure that this man must have hidden Bronte's camera there, because of which his father is trapped. Ash thinks that this is George's work. Then the three of them go to George's house to find evidence, and they sold him to George at a very low price. Although despite looking for so much, they don't get anything. On the contrary, George and Ash also get a slight glimpse. Now the next day comes. Karen comes to him and takes care of him. Then Karen tells him the biggest secret of his life. That night when there was a storm in the cave, I was not alone there. In fact, Olivia was also there with me. I'd never even called Toby and his brother Finn. Olivia had called them. Surprising thing was that even after 15 years, until now, Karen has not mentioned this to anyone in what he was talking about the favor of Olivia yesterday. Maybe this was the thing. Now, hearing this, Mia is a little sad because she has kept this a secret from him until now. Goes to meet George to find out about Gabby. George tells her that he doesn't like Bronte, Bron and Verity at all. At the same time, George also shows her some important things, like a photograph that she had taken while living in the city. Gabby has some things that Trish had given her. Seeing this, Mia is a little surprised and asks, "Why didn't you give all this to the police?" So George says that there was no problem in giving it to the police. Before that, she has to finish her book, which is related to the mystery of this city. Meanwhile, Mia gets an old picture of Gabby, which she keeps as a memory. But as soon as she goes home and matches those pictures with her old picture, then a surprising thing comes to light. Actually, on the other hand, Finn and Tabby were alive. It seems that Gabby was also with them that day. On the other hand, before going to jail, Verity and Karen are introduced to Brian once, where Brian signals the cross with his hands before leaving. He was not able to say anything, but this gesture of his takes the daughter Karen by surprise. Actually, Brian was a safeguard specialist. At the same time, he also saved people from drowning. And the signal he gave Karen was something like this. Karen immediately understands. When her father went for a walk that night, she must have seen Bronte injured, whom the killer killed, and left to drown in the water. But in time, Brian reached there, and to save his life, he must have pulled him out of the waves of water and pulled him to the shore. And in all this, his DNA went into his mouth. And this is the reason that Bronte's body did not float with the waves. Hearing this from Karen, her mother and Brian's lawyer also hoped that they could save her. A mother Verity thanks her son. And 2 days later, she sees him in the city on Memorial Day, and she wants him to wear his brother Finn's t-shirt in this match. Now after a while, we see Karen going to her brother's room after so many years. He came here to get his football t-shirt. That's when Mia presents 2 photos to him, which one is Gabby, and the other is Finn and Tabby. These 2 photos were different, but they were related to each other. By looking at it, it can be clearly understood that Gabby was with them. That day, Mia knows that this is not the right time, but she wants the truth about Gabby to be revealed to everyone. That's why she mentions it to Gabby's mother, Trish. And she is stunned to see that her daughter was dating both the boys. She immediately investigates Gabby's case with Mia. Brian's friend, Detective Geoff, goes to her. Trish is now convinced that her daughter was not missing. In fact, she left the house in fear of those people and ran away. She points at Geoff's investigation and says that in an attempt to save the 2 boys, she released Gabby's case, on which Geoff tells a mother the truth about his daughter after 15 years. Yes, that day Gabby was also present with Tabby and Finn in the boat. In the investigation, they found his pack there, which made him understand that Gabby had drowned in the storm, but he didn't want the family who were already in pain for his son to have to face more pain. That's why his bag was secretly thrown into the sea, on the basis of which Gabby's suspicions of drowning in the sea were confirmed, and the case was closed. Geoff apologizes to Trish for this, but he did everything for his own good. On the other hand, the police find out about Ash and his friends from Olivia's phone, and apart from this, they also find out that he had been given drugs. Detective Pendle thinks that it is possible that Ash killed him that night. Bronte always felt that someone was following him, and when he found out that this man was Ash, he took a picture of him in his room. As a result, out of fear of the police, Ash killed him. Now the police don't get any special success in interrogating him, but to find out his live location that night, they take hold of the phone. This story will still be a sweat on the detective's forehead for 2 days. Sometimes they are suspicious of Brian, sometimes on Ash. And that's why they try to match the sand samples found in the room with the soil of Ash's house. The next day, after a lot of hard work, Brian finally gets bail. Both come home, and now people are ready to pay tribute to Finn and Toby. They are included in the club named after them. On this occasion, the football match begins in their memories. Trish, Mia, and Detective Pendle were also present to watch it. The match begins. team had Karan, Ash, and Cian. The other team had Toby's son Liam. The match was very close. Suddenly Trish comes and tells Julian and Verity that her daughter drowned because of them. The two boys who are being idolized here as innocent and youthful, they took a 14-year-old girl with them. God knows what they must have done to her. Ash and Cian fight on the ground, because of which the field of play turns into a battlefield. Ashanti Samaro takes the form of a spectacle. And now the secret behind Gabby's death is kept in the jungle. Like a fire in the jungle, it spreads throughout the city. Everyone thinks that those boys were behind her death. But what happened to Bronte? Who killed him? There is still a bad joke on the city's law system. Just then, when the old CCTV is destroyed, the police get a footage. In this, Julian is scolding Bronte. And the next day, he is called to the police station for cleaning. Now here Julian says that when he found out that Bronte was investigating the events of the past in this city, he gets a little angry. After all, what is the use of picking up dead bodies, Pendle says. Did you kill him because he found out about Gabby and Tabby, so that you don't get defamed in such a big memorial in the city? Julian denies this, but Pendle didn't trust him at all. So to find Bronte's laptop, she goes to Julian's house with a warrant. At home, Mia is packing all her stuff, and then she gets a message from George, who calls him to his house to show him Bronte's art project, from which he got some evidence that could reveal the secret behind Gabby's disappearance. On the other hand, police get a video of George and Bronte's personal clout. In this video, the sweater worn by him looks exactly like the person who was actually keeping an eye on Bronte. For now, George's husband gets a photo of the day of the storm, which was from the same cave where the storm came. Gabby's name was also written on a stone in the cave. The date of the day when the incident happened was recorded below. That is, it is possible that Gabby was in the cave instead of the boat that day. And she sends this photo to Karen, and Karen couldn't see the date clearly on the stone. That's why she leaves for the cave with the scene. Here, Pendle and Alex call George for questioning, but they don't get anything. After this, we see Verity at Julian's house. Both of them were very worried about their son's defamation in the city. Now, even Verity's upbringing had started to raise questions. That's when Julian tells her with complete confidence that Gabby was not on that boat. So this thing starts to shock Verity. How does she know this? On the other hand, when Karen reaches the inner part of the cave with the scene, she is stunned to see that place, because no one else knew about this place except the four of them. Tabby and Finn were on the boat. Ash wasn't there at that time. So did the scene come here with Gabby? Her mind starts to get dizzy thinking about it, and the scene standing behind her tells her that she did not harm Gabby, and he starts telling the whole story. And we come to know that she came to the boat while looking for Karen. The scene tells her that Karen went to the caves, and she also starts going there. That's when the scene stops her from going there, because only a few people know that way. After which Gabby requests the scene to take him from there, and the scene agrees. But before going, he puts his bag in Tabby's boat, and then both of them leave for the cave. When it gets cold, he also gives Gabby his jacket, and then he starts trying to kiss her, but Gabby loved Karen. And now he is afraid that after coming out of here, everyone will make fun of him. That's why she started going out of the cave alone in anger. Gabby was also behind, but suddenly she got lost. And then the storm started, and that's why she drowned and died. The scene tells the whole story to her father, Julian, who tells him to close the number forever. Maybe that was the reason that Julian was so adamant that Gabby was not on the boat with those people. He was talking to Verity. Here, when Verity hears this truth from Julian's mouth at home, she is stunned. She thinks that Julian didn't kill Bronte, because when Brian went to the beach to walk that night, it was Julian who he left out of the house. In his car, now she goes out of the house to go to the police station. So Julian tries to stop her, but she doesn't stop. When the scene in the cave was telling Gabby's story, Karen sees Bronte's torch in her hand. That is, Bronte's killer is none other than the scene. He asks the scene, "Why did you do this?" To which the scene says that girl was really a problem. The day I went to her to get my torch, she invited me to walk on the beach. Then she started showing me some pictures taken by her camera, in which I also saw that picture, in which Gabby had written her name on a stone in the cave. Bronte had found out that her life did not go on her boat. Here Bronte had found out that her life did not go on that boat, so she was going to tell the police based on this picture, and at the same time, she was saying a lot of bad things to Tabby and Finn. I told her not to do this. So she started yelling at me and started showing me down as you guys used to show me. Then what was it? I went in the rage of this torch and killed her. I was just going to put her dead body in place. That's when Brian came there, because of which the camera was hidden. Karan says, okay, I admit that you did all this by mistake. But why did you have to trap my father in this? Finn says. What difference does it make whether he is trapped or not? He doesn't remember anything anyway. After which he suddenly pushes Karan and starts running away from there. There, Detective Pendle gets a report of a sand sample in Bronte's room, which tells him another shocking news, that sand matches with Ash's house, although that night, Ash was roaming with another German girl. Then he finds out that it is definitely a murder scene. Now everyone sets out to arrest the scene, along with the entire army. Meanwhile, a variety comes there, which tells him that the scene has gone to the cave with Karan. And after hearing this, all the police cars leave for the cave. As soon as they see, the whole area is surrounded. While in the cave, the scene is about to kill Karan. That's when a piece of the police reaches there and arrests the scene. Not only in the murder of Bronte, but also to hide his laptop as evidence. In addition, he is put behind bars for the murder of Gabby. In this story, although the police were looking for Bronte's killer, but along with this, they also found out the truth about Gabby's disappearance. Now here, the scene gets the punishment for his actions, and all the charges put on Brian are dismissed. After knowing the truth about Gabby's disappearance, Trish's heart is now relieved. With this story ends here. Well, how did you like the story? Do tell us by commenting. See you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.